You need, feel the vibe of this reggae. You my love, my life. This intense beat, the soul takes you.
So okay, so you from North Carolina. So how was it growing up in the South?
Man, it was pretty regular to me, man. I mean, outside of the fact that I grew up in a pretty interesting family. You know what I'm saying? My mother, she was a radio disc jockey in Wilmington, North Carolina. She was like one of the biggest radio DJs at a radio station out there.
Nice.
So I think that's where my liking to music came from. So you know, she did that, and my father owned a radio station, and it was also a major in the Marines. So you know, it was a kind of a different dynamic. I didn't grow up with him, but I had her. She was like a single mother and all that, so she kind of like, she was like my backbone when it came to music. I always like had a love for music, but my first love was actually art. So I went to a school of performing arts. I was always drawing and, you know, painting and doing things like that. And you know, just I'll say probably from the age of 9. I started taking a liking to music from listening to my big brother's, you know, CDs and his tapes and stuff like that. But you know, it was pretty regular, man.
That's cool. So okay, so your parents then worked together. Is that your whole childhood, or just like
the
later part? Okay.
How many siblings do you have?
I have 3 siblings. I have an older brother and 2 younger sisters.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So, you what kind of drawing did you do? Was it like realism or portrait or landscaping? What did you do?
All types of drawing. I did you know, realistic portraits. I did sketches. I did paintings. I did abstract art. You know.
Oh wow.
So what kind of made you go from the art then to music? Like, how did you transition that?
Man, to tell you the truth, I was really like hell bent on following in the footsteps of my uncle, because my uncle was like one of the top 10 architects in the United States. He's a professor at Berkeley in California. So I wanted to follow behind him. But when my brother started introducing me to rap, you know, I started hearing him play his CDs and his different tapes in my house, and I just took a liking to it. I started hearing like Wu-Tang, Nas, Ghetto Boys, you know what I mean, Helter Skelter, and you know, all the greats like that. And I'm like, whoa, what's this? And the more I heard it, the more I got interested in it. I'm like, man, I think I could do this. So one day I just, you know, gave it a shot, and from there I just, you know, kept at it, and that was that.
Cool. So at one point you ended up moving to Yonkers. When was that?
Man, that was probably when I was around the age of 11. You know what I'm saying? Because what happened was, now I actually could have got my first deal here in North Carolina when I was 11 years old. I got a record deal when I did a talent show down here. You know, one of my other uncles worked at a club, so they did like I'm not gonna say a talent show. They did like a little showcase, and I won the showcase. And whoever the winner of the showcase was, they was being offered a deal by EMI Records, and EMI Records was a major record label at the time. EMI Records is it's not really around right now. It's probably like a thing of the past, but at the time, it was, like I said, it was a major record label. And after I won the showcase, they offered me a deal. They also offered to fly me and my family up to New York to sit with the owner of the company to go over the deal that they was offering and to see how it would have been structured, etc. But before we even got to that level, or to accept the flight and all that other type of stuff, my mom's, she kind of heard that, you know, that they were saying that if we was to take the deal, it would be a possibility that I would miss school and all this other type of stuff. She shot it down immediately.
Yeah. Moms can be like that.
Yeah, I don't blame her though.
I don't either. I mean, you got to have an education.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. So she shot that down. I was kind of like disappointed and, you know, hurt about it. But I think it was for the best, because after that, probably like maybe a year later, if that, she just ultimately made a decision to move up north to New York. She was like, you know, she just wanted a different scenery, on top of her thinking that I would have a better chance of pursuing my career if we was to move in New York, because there's way more opportunities up there than there was in the South. So
Okay.
she just picked up on a limb without any real plans and moved me and my two younger sisters up to New York. My older brother stayed down here because he was of age to be by himself, but we went up to New York. We stayed in a homeless shelter for about 3 months until my mother was able to get her stuff together. And while we was in the shelter, I met a lot of interesting people. One of the people that I met, now at this time, see, I gotta explain to you, I had like a real deep love for Mace. Mace was one of the biggest rappers at the time. Everybody wanted to be like him. He had all the girls. He was the flyest, out there. So I used to literally try to dress like him, try to be like him. He talks a little slow. I didn't talk slow, but I was trying to talk like him. I was trying to do everything like him. So I met this lady who my mother ended up befriending, and the lady happened to be Mace's mother's friend. So they grew up in the same neighborhood in Harlem. So she, told me a lot about how he grew up, and she told me, a bunch of information about them. And some of the information that she told me about his mother, what I did with it was I ended up recording a demo. And after I recorded a demo when we moved from the shelter, I literally went to Mace's mother's house, knocked on the door with my demo, and gave it to her to see if she could give it to her son.
Wow. Oh my God, that's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend doing half the stuff that I did.
It was a different world though back then. It was a different world.
Of course,
so, yeah, you could do stuff like that. Yeah.
And besides, he's from the South. They knock on people's door. They talk to people.
Right.
Not like in New York City, you don't talk to nobody.
Right.
It's kind of like my thing. I was like I was so hands-on as a kid, man. I was determined to get on and to make it. Even when I was down here, before we moved, I used to do things like, go in front of the barbershop and rap for money. They used to just be so impressed. The older dudes used to give me money. I used to take my mother's old perfumes out of her old pocketbooks, mix them together, and invent different scents and sell them in front of the stores. They used to have this thing called Columbia CDs and these magazines where you pay like 10 cents for like 20 CDs. I used to order them and then sell them in front of the barbershop and stuff like that. So I used to get different people's numbers somehow. I don't know how I used to do it, but one time I ended up getting Busta Rhymes' hype man. His name is
Flip Mode.
Yeah, Flip Mode. His name is Rampage. I ended up getting his number from somebody. I can't recall how, but I used to call that man like every week. Man, listen, I'm trying to get on. He like, man, how did you get my number, man? I'm
That's
like,
funny.
I'm trying to get on, man.
I'm hungry, dude.
Right.
I used that same hunger and applied it when I moved to New York. And after I gave my demo to Mace's mother, interesting thing, man, I ended up meeting one of the Lost Boys. I don't know if you know. Okay, so
yeah,
I met one of the Lost Boys. He go by the name of Spig Nice. So I was actually supposed to be signed to the Lost Boys before I even met the Locks or before I knew who they were. But he ended up going to jail, so that kind of like fell through. Now, remember I said I met a lot of interesting people at the shelter.
Yeah.
Another person that I met while I was there was a younger cat that was more so my age, but he was from Yonkers. I had never heard of Yonkers at the time, but he used to talk so much about it at the shelter. Yonkers. I'm like, what the hell is Yonkers? Yo, the Locks. The Locks. I'm like, who the hell is the Locks, man? Yo, they signed to P. Diddy. They signed to Diddy. I'm like, man, who was these cats you keep talking about? So I had to do my research on them, and I did my homework or whatever the case on them, and it just so happened that we ended up moving to Mount Vernon, which was about like 5 minutes from Yonkers. And after we went to Mount Vernon, we ended up moving to Yonkers. Now, upon us moving to Yonkers, I heard about where these guys hung out at. So me, with the same mentality that I had, I took it upon myself to go where they hung out at. I started going over there. I didn't know anybody, but I was just so hungry and ambitious. I'm like, I'm going to meet somebody. So I went over there just to peep the scene the first time. I seen them hanging around. It was actually outside. Matter of fact, all of them wasn't outside. One member was outside, Sheik.
Okay.
A lot of people in front of the store. I went over there and they ended up going to like the basketball court. I followed them. They didn't know who I was. They had no idea. I was just like, they were like on one side of the basketball court. I'm literally standing in the corner just watching them. So after we left the basketball court, we went like in front of the store. I'm standing in the corner of the store. They looking at me. They're like, yo, who was this guy over there just standing there looking at us, man? Somebody came over. They're like, yo, who are you? I'm like, man, I'm Jay. They're like, Jay who? Like, what are you doing? Like, who are you? Who do you know over here? I'm like, man, hey, I rap, man. They're like, okay. So I just kept coming around, and funny thing, I found out where Sheik lived at, and I took my demo to his house. Now
Wow.
he stayed with his uncle, so he wasn't there. But when I knocked at his door, his uncle answered the door. And like, bear in mind, this is a demo that it was really bootleg, to be honest with you, man. I created the front cover of it. I went to Kinko's, made my own cover and all that type of stuff. So I went to his house. I knocked on the door. He looked at me like I was crazy. He like, yo, who are you, man? I'm like, look, man, I'm just trying to get my demo to Sheik. Whatever. He's like, but how did you know where we live at? I'm like, look, the streets talk. I did my due diligence. I asked around and I found out. So I gave it to him. After I gave it to him, I kept going around the neighborhood where they hung out at. I met a lot of people. I met like this guy by the name of Harlem who was like the neighborhood DJ. He took me in, kind of like showed me around, and I just, like I said, I just kept coming around and jumping into different battles within the neighborhood, and these guys just took a liking to me and they just embraced me. And it was like, again, I want to suggest nobody to do this right now. But
So how old were you at the time?
man, I was like 12, 13.
Jesus.
Wow.
You're a brave soul,
Yeah.
bro.
That's amazing though. I mean, but I don't know, thinking back about that time though, like that's how people, got seen. There was no social media. There was no, you couldn't just email people. You couldn't reach out on socials to whatever. So you had to go door to door. You had, or you had to battle, or you had to, you know what I mean? Like to get out there. So makes sense.
Yeah. Yep.
So how did you end up being part of the group? Did Sheik end up hearing your demo? What happened after that?
What really happened realistically was Styles, after hearing me jump into different ciphers and battling with people from the neighborhood, because that's what I did too. I did a lot of battling with people throughout the city and different cities besides Yonkers. But Styles heard me rapping one time in the neighborhood, and he suggested that I go to Rough Riders to the studio and battle with a lot of the cats that used to be there, because that's literally what they used to do there. Like, they used to invite people from different cities just to come there and battle. They called it the dungeon. So whoever in the dungeon, they used to have people from, like, at any given moment, you would have cats from like Baltimore, you have cats from New Orleans, Florida, Connecticut, just a lot of different people just in the studio just battling. So I used to go there, and a lot of hungry different artists, and we used to just do our thing. And I used to be one of the only artists that always just used to have material at the end of every battle. So, one day I had got offered a situation from Rough Riders. Originally, I was supposed to sign with them. So Sheik had caught wind of it, and he, came to me and was like, listen, we're about to create a movement or a label. We would love for you to be a part of it. Now, I see that you have this, going on over here with Rough Riders. They, they like you. They try to do whatever with you. But listen, you could be a part of something new, or you could, stay over here and be a part of this. So I decided to be a part of something new. So I, helped. At the time I didn't look at it like that, but I helped establish the D-Block movement, and I co-founded it. But like I said, at the time I was so young, I didn't look at it as me being a co-founder. But I was an intricate part of creating that. So we sat down collectively and came up with the whole idea. And they was like, you know what, you're going to be not the first artist, because Sheik was going to be the first artist, being that he didn't have a solo deal with the record company that Jada and Styles did, because they had solo deals with Interscope. He didn't have one. So the plan was to put him out on a label, the new label that was created. And then after that, because he was a newer artist, they was going to start the label with him and then I was going to piggyback off of him as the newer artist. So that's what we did. We started creating mixtapes, recording freestyles, distributing them to different DJs, and the buzz just got generated, and it just went crazy.
Listen, man, I got to be honest with you. I used in the early 2000, I would drive from DC to New York to go buy a mixtape. There were four groups that did mixtape, in my opinion. It was D Blocks, it was States, it was Deep Set, and J Unit. To me, it was the battle of four of you guys. Again, nothing against anybody else. It was the four of you at the top of the mixtape world. If you were to rank the top four, how would you rank it?
Man, I ain't gonna lie. See, I'm not trying to. I don't want to sound biased or nothing like that, but nah, I'm playing. But I think I think like you have to look at it from a different perspective. Like me, I look at things unbiased and realistically. I think, to be honest with you, G Unit probably had the biggest impact due to the fact that 50 was signed to Eminem, and he actually had a radio DJ in his pocket that happened to be the one to distribute their mixtape. So that's like a cheat code. You got a mixtape DJ that's at a radio station that's playing your stuff regularly. That's like you won already. And plus his situation, it's like it was the perfect situation. You have Eminem and you have Dr. Dre. You know, his work ethic was impeccable. So the tapes that they came out with was like ringing off crazy. Don't get me wrong, Dipset, they put out a lot of mixtapes as well. You had State Property, Rockefeller, they were doing their thing also. And then you had us. I think lyrically, when it came to like a group with everybody who had lyrical ability, elite lyrical ability, I think, that was us. I think we were better than everybody on a lyrical level. But
I agree.
We weren't able to, gain that commercial success, with retail products or retail projects. We more so, just stuck to the mixtape thing, but I don't think we applied ourselves as much as we should have, because we really could have took it to the next level if we would have did that. But to be, like I said, to answer your question, I think G Unit, then I would say probably us, and then Dipset, then State Property.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Go ahead.
So, just out of curiosity, just to go back, like, how was the chemistry between y'all?
Indeed. Yeah.
It was incredible. It was phenomenal. I can't, it's indescribable, man. It's like, they are a three-man group, and everybody know them for putting in the work that they put in from a long time ago. They're a legendary group. So, when I came along, it was just something new. It was like to me, this is how I looked at it. I gave them like a kind of, I'm not going to say, I assisted them in reinventing themselves, because it's like I came and I brought the young energy. You know what I'm saying? These were cats that was a little older. So like I said, at the time when we really started doing things, I was 16. I was still in high school. So I kind of like catered to the people that was my age. So coming along with them, people who was already established, and then with my style, they, like I said, they helped me establish my style also, because I was kind of like rough around the edges. So they kind of like helped me, to mold me and stuff like that. But our chemistry, when we actually got it together and we came together, it was like undeniable, and it was crazy.
Yeah. So how was it to be 16, a hip hop star in high school, man? Like, how was the girls?
I'm not gonna lie to you, it kind of messed me up, man. I'm not good. I couldn't focus like I was supposed to focus. I'm not gonna lie to you, man.
I mean, you're part of the hottest group in the country, in the state, and then you're in high school. All these girls like told themselves at you.
I'm sure, yeah.
Never had a problem academically as far as like, getting good grades or stuff like that. I was always like an intellectual and a real smart kid, but I was also the class clown. So on top of the class clown, I was one of the most popular people at school. So you had me, I was popular from the music, and then you had another guy. I went to school with a guy by the name of Ben Gordon. He ended up going to the NBA.
Yeah.
It was me and Ben Gordon. We were like the most popular people at school. So it was like crazy. I used to have an entourage of people walking me to every class. I'm talking about like 9 people just walking me everywhere. Every class I go to, it's pandemonium. We walk into class every day, and we just doing all type of stupid stuff. I couldn't focus, man. The girls, everything was just about girls, and that messed me up, man. I'm like, I can't do it, man. I ended up getting kicked out of school. I got expelled. Well, I used to always get suspended. I got expelled, and then when I got expelled, I had to come back the next year. Got expelled again. I'm just like, you know what? I'm not gonna be able to do this, man, because it's just so much going on. Like these guys used to come pick me up from school, and everybody used to go crazy. I'm like, I can't do it. So I just ended up getting my GED, but I can't.
So
I can imagine going to high school and doing all that at the same time. I really can't. I mean,
as a guy, that would be sweet.
Yeah, but you can get yourself in a lot of trouble.
And that's what happened. I got myself in a lot of trouble. But I didn't get in the type of trouble that a lot of my peers got into, though. I got into trouble.
Yeah. So did you guys end up living together at some point?
Living together?
Yeah.
No, but I did end up moving out of my mother's house at like 17. So while I was in high school, I had my own spot.
Okay.
So just imagine that. I got my own spot and I'm in high school and all this stuff was going on. It was crazy, man. It was just ridiculous.
Bro, you're living the dream, man. You're living the dream, bro.
Any high school boy, anywhere, yeah.
I wish I would have known the things that I know now. It would have been different. Though.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Because at that point, when I was growing up there were 2 kids that we were looking to for the music to come out. It was him and Dragon. Because when Drag come with DMX and Rough Riders, we were like, okay, Drag's supposed to be the next one coming up. And then he was supposed to be the next one coming up too. So we were waiting for his album.
Right.
So seriously, like almost every month, I'm like, okay, when is it gonna drop? When is it gonna drop? So how come you never had an album coming out with D-Block?
Tales from the Hood coming soon, man. That's all you heard every mixtape.
Yeah.
So this is the thing. Like I said, to bring you back to the whole creating the movement thing. So after we started like distributing these freestyles, what really kicked it off was Jada had dropped his first album. So when he dropped his first album, like the day before it dropped, he kind of like he made a call to one of his best friends to gather a couple people up from the neighborhood, that rap. He was gonna take him to the radio station. So I was one of the people that he got. It was me, a guy by the name of Tiger Bone, rest in peace, he's dead, he passed away, and then a guy by the name of Black Jesus. So they took all 3 of us up to the radio station, the Hot 97, to spit a freestyle at DJ Clue. So he took me up there. Now, when he took me up there, that's kind of like probably the most known freestyle of mine, to this day, because I say like it's a classic freestyle, and not only is it a classic, I think it's like a top 10 freestyle from DJ Clue on the radio.
Yep.
I went up there, I dropped like 80 bars, and it went crazy. And what happened was after that, I guess Clue was getting a lot of calls or whatever the case be, and we thought everybody was going to be on the tape. But the next day or the next week, when he finally ended up putting his mixtape out, I was the only artist that he put on the tape. He was saying that he got a lot of calls and everybody just wanted to hear me, so I was the only one that was on the tape. Now, after this buzz started generating, a lot of labels started trying to contact these guys, for distribution or whatever the case be, and one of those labels ended up being Universal Motown, which is a major label. Now, when they reached out, the guys ended up deciding to go with them as far as like for distribution. Now, the deal that they got was structured like they wanted a Chic Luch album and they wanted the J Hood album. It was like a package deal. So being that he was already an established artist, they decided that they were going to drop his album first, like the original plan was before, and then let me piggyback off of that. So he dropped his album. That's the first deal that we got. We had 2 deals. He ended up dropping his album. probably the most known song by us as a like collectively as a group is the Two Guns Up, the Mighty D Block song. That's when that dropped, you know. After that drop, he didn't like he pretty much didn't like the way that they handled this whole project, so he took it upon himself to, you know, shop around for another deal to see if we could get a better situation. So he ended up, you know, talking to Koch Records, which was a independent label, but it was a major independent. Now they offered the same kind of deal. They wanted a Chic album and a J Hood album. Now I was already signed to Universal at the time. You know what I'm saying? So he had already gave them what he owed them, which was the album. But me, I was still locked in because I didn't drop my album yet. Now me being a brand new artist, looking at things in hindsight, I needed to stay on the major label because all the things that they offered as being a new artist, I needed that. I needed the promotion, I needed the marketing, and I needed everything that they, you know, that they were offering. But what ended up happening was he came to me. He was like, "Listen, I want you to kind of like I need you to come with me over here to Koch. You know, if you go to Koch, the way that this deal is structured, you will be getting, you know, close to $3 off of each album versus you staying over here at Universal and getting 60 cents off of each album. So mathematically, I'm like, man, you don't have to be honest down there. Look at that. I'm like, you know what? Say no more. I'm out. I'm going wherever y'all going.
Right.
Like I said, now I look at it in hindsight now. I'm like, I shouldn't have did that, but wherever my guys was going, that's where I wanted to go.
Of course.
They ended up getting me out of the situation in Universal. We went over to Koch. Like I said, the deal was structured the same way. So again, Chic is already the established artist. So he decided to drop his album first, then drop mine. Now, in my mind, I'm like, listen, man, and this is not me being arrogant or cocky or none of that, because at the time I wasn't like thinking about it like that. I was really in the streets, and I'm really out here mingling with the young people, and I know what they're talking about. I know what they wanted to hear. At the time, I had like the streets in a chokehold. You know what I'm saying? Like when it comes to buzz, like the street buzz on the mixtapes. So everybody was waiting on the Tales from the Hood album. Sheik had already dropped his album on Universal, so it was, like realistically, it was my turn to drop. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
we went over to Koch, and now this is what people really don't know. D Block is really Chic Luch's out. It's his label. He really owns it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Kiss and Styles are more so co-signing it. So at the end of the day, he really has the power to drop whenever he want to drop. So that's really what happened. He decided that he wanted to drop again. So he ended up dropping another album, and I was in total support of him. I'm like, you know what? I'm a team player. All right, cool. Even though I know that the streets wanted me, he like, yo, look, they want me to drop. I'm like, you know what? All right, cool. So I featured on the album, and he ended up dropping that album, and I was supposed to be up next. Now, after he dropped his album, honestly, I didn't like, it was my turn to drop now. So we're in the process of like creating music for my project and, you know, just doing things to get prepped for my album. And I didn't like feel the same energy, you know, being put forth with my project that they put with his. So I'm like, man, I don't like the way this is going, man. You know what I'm saying? Like different things start taking place. Like a bunch of little stuff aside from that, a bunch of stuff just started building up that I really dislike. And, you know, in the midst of that, my house ended up burning down when I was living with my mom. So after that took place, so we had just signed that deal with Koch. Now I was waiting on my advance, like when my house burned down. Now when you sign to a label, you're not supposed to wait no longer than about 3 to 4 weeks to get your money after you sign. I've been waiting about a month at this point. I'm not gonna say who, but somebody had borrowed a significant amount of money out of the company account, and I had to wait for them to replace it before I got my advance.
Wow.
That's not the way that was supposed to go, but that's just what happened. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I said, me being young and me being a team player, I'm just like, all right, whatever, man. Now, while I was waiting, like I said, my house ended up burning down. So normally I wouldn't go to the mother label, which was Koch. But something was telling me within my, within myself and within my soul, just go down there and see what's going on. I ended up going down there and speaking to the general manager, and he displayed, empathy towards my situation, and he was like, "Listen, man, I'm sorry about what happened to you. We heard about the news of you losing your house and everything, and I really hope that, the check that we gave the guys was enough for you to start back over and to get you where you need to be."
Wow.
Now at this point, I'm looking at him like he's from Jupiter. I'm like,
Right?
check.
What check?
Yeah. What check? What money? Yeah.
What are you talking about, check? He's like, what do you mean? He's like, you didn't get the money? I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, man. Now I made sure that I brought somebody with me to witness, whatever was going to take place at this meeting.
Right.
When he said that, I had one of my boys with me. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, man. He's like, listen, we gave them a $60,000 check because they came down here and told us about what happened. They said you needed help, so we cut them a check. I'm like, well, I didn't get that. So after I learned that, I kind of like kept that in the back of my mind when I went back to the guys and all that stuff like that. I ended up getting the advance that I was waiting on, which was, I think, a little over $25,000. Which it didn't really go far because of the situation that I was in. I had
your house been down.
Yeah.
my mother a new place. I had to get the furniture. I had to replace everything. You know what I'm saying? So by the time I really looked up, it was kind of like I had exhausted those funds. So now, like I said, in the back of my mind, I already know that the information that this guy had told me. So the relationship started to like, it wasn't never the same after that.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. So Sheik has the power on the label. That's his label. So did he take the money or somebody else took the money?
To be real with you, I can't really get into that. I can't say.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What I can say is that somebody who had the power to sign off on it was responsible for it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah.
That's fair.
We had a president of the label also, so it wasn't just those three guys. It was a guy by the name of Video, who you might be familiar with him from he used to drop off mixtapes. His name is Super Mario. So he was the president of the label. You know what I'm saying? So, I can't like we kind of like over that situation. You know what I'm saying? It was so long ago, so I don't want to like open no can of worms and nothing like that. But,
yeah. But 60K, man, Jesus.
Yeah, 60K is still a lot of money today. So, yeah.
Man, that's definitely a lot of money. I could have did a lot with that, but hey.
Right.
And I really knew that it was real when Uncle Sam hit me and I had to like pay the taxes on it. I'm like, what?
Well, wait, so you had to pay the taxes on the full 60K even though you only got 25?
It made no sense to me. I'm like, what?
Wow.
So did you go to them and say, hey, listen, guys, somebody has to pay that for me?
I'm gonna tell you what happened. I don't know why I was the way that I was, but I used to just let a lot of stuff slide, man. You know what I'm saying?
You were young. You were young.
I let a lot slide, like the pay from the shows. I let that slide. I'm not saying that I didn't get paid, but I don't think I got paid what I was supposed to get paid. But I let that slide. It was a number of things, man, and it was so much until I let it build up until I couldn't take it no more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Ultimately, I just decided, I'm like, you know what? I don't want to be a part of this anymore. I went to Styles and I told him, I'm like, look, bro, because it was a lot of tension, man. Like it was stuff that I used to like, different things used to transpire, and I would like drift away from them for like a week at a time, 2 weeks, and not come around, and then end up just going back and all that type of stuff. And we hash things out and all that stuff like that. But it was one thing that had took place. And it kind of like bent me the wrong way. I was like, it touched me the wrong way. I'm like, nah, I can't do this because I feel like it's stunning my growth as an artist. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't do things that I think I want to do. And, aside from that, it was just other little things. Like, for instance, I don't think he did it purposely, but I remember one time specifically, I was like sitting in the neighborhood. Like I said, I used to draw all the time. I was drawing them when we were sitting down in the neighborhood, and like she kind of like I said, he didn't do it purposely, but you just have to be more careful with the things that you say to kids. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know what's gonna stick with them.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like was joking on me, like, "Oh, this man sitting over here drawing us, man." They laughing, ha 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 ha. So I was kind of like the butt of the jokes. Him not knowing the effect that was gonna have on me, like I kind of felt embarrassed. You know what I'm saying? And intelligence where we from is kind of like shunned upon. You know what I'm saying? It's like you.
Right.
It's kind of like that doesn't go with the image that they want you to have. So I kind of like I stopped drawing for like 4 years after that. You know.
Wow.
So I kind of the person that I really was, I had to like suppress it. You know what I mean? Like different things that I couldn't really be who I really wanted to be. So that was kind of part of it too. So one day I told Styles, I went over there to the studio. I was like, "Look, man, I love y'all, but I don't want to be a part of this no more."
Mm-hmm.
He was like, "I understand, and I'll get you out of this agreement." And over a couple of weeks went by, and at the time, like I said, I wasn't. Maybe it really took that long, but I didn't look at it like it shouldn't have took that long as far as you speaking to attorneys, because it should have just been a release form just getting signed. You know what I'm saying? And because you didn't make any money off of it because I didn't put it out. So, but that's not how it went down. It was like weeks went by. I'm like, yo, I called him instead of him reaching out to me, which I thought that was supposed to happen because I was the one calling them trying to figure out what was going on. I didn't speak to the attorney yet. Give me another week. Another week go by. I didn't speak to him. I'm like, all right, man. Now after 4 or 5 weeks, I started feeling like y'all jerking me around now. You know what I'm saying? Like you taking advantage of me, man. So then, I kind of like I felt the way, man. I'm like, bro, I have different labels reaching out to me. They're trying to do things for me. They want to sign me. Now my mother is sick. She's battling liver disease and all that type of stuff. I have my younger sister. She has autism, so we dealt with different things regularly. Like on top of the music problems that I have, I'm dealing with real life issues. Being young, so I'm like, bro, all this stuff is overwhelming. So I'm trying to get out of this contract, and I just feel like I'm being jerked around, and different rumors are circulating on the internet. Normally when you go to a label, they gift you a chain. You know what I'm saying, with the logo, the label logo on it. I had to buy my own chain out of my own pocket, so that was kind of like crazy to me too. So that rubbed me the wrong way. Now the rumor that really did it for me is there was something going on the internet. I really shouldn't have took it the way I took it because it's now the day and age that we on now. People just say the craziest stuff on the internet. But
of course,
I heard something, like she had took my chain or something like that, and I just felt so crazy about that. I'm like, took my chain that I bought? Y'all crazy? What's wrong with you? Y'all sound crazy, man. So I'm like, whatever. Now I'm taking different label meetings at this time. So I'm like, you know what? I feel like they're doing me wrong, man. So I was reading the 48 Laws of Power at the time also. So I'm like, you know what? It says crush your enemy totally now. I was viewing them as my enemies now because y'all trying to stop my money. Me not looking at things from a realistic standpoint, like these guys are legendary. They are who they are. They have different relationships with people within the game. Nobody's not going to turn their backs on these guys, no matter if they're right or wrong. It is what it is. I'm like, no. People, if it's right, it's right. They're going to like, you know what I mean? Like people with common sense are going to see what's going on. Not the case. So
that's not how it works.
Yeah, it's not how it works, man. So I took these different label meetings, and one of the label meetings that I ended up taking was with 50 Cent, which at the time was considered our arch nemesis because we were battling with them, right?
Right.
So I'm like, now if I go take this meeting with them, I know that's going to be like a gut shot. They're going to be like, oh my God, did you really just go take that meeting? So, took the meeting with him. We sat down for about 7 hours. I know the effect that we was having on the streets as far as like on the mixtape level because he sat down and told me, he like, listen, y'all are one of the only groups that we check for before we put our tapes out. They like, look, y'all doing y'all thing, da-da-da. We was always wondering what the hell is going on with you, why you ain't drop. I'm like, look, man, I'm not with them no more. I remember Tony Yayo asked me, like, what's going on with them? I'm like, I'm not with them no more. I don't know, man. So We sat down, and I basically told him straight up, and this is my exact words. Now I look at it, I laugh now because it's funny. But I told him, look, man, I'm a Ja Rule sheik, man. I'm gonna do the same thing what you did to Ja Rule the sheik. He started laughing. Now, yeah, it's funny saying that now because there's no way I was gonna do that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So after I said that, we was in front of probably like 7 people. I had like 5 of my friends with me, and he had like 2 people around him. So when I said that specific thing, he was like, all right, cool, let's go in the room. So we got up and went to our room and started speaking, amongst ourselves. He like, look, man, I'm not trying to persuade you to do any of that. I'm not saying do this and do that. I'm like, bro, you don't have to persuade me to do anything. I'm gonna do this regardless, with you or without you. It don't matter. Now, at the end of the day, I knew I couldn't sign with him because I was still in contract with these guys and they wouldn't let me out of it. I was just being spiteful going over there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, my intention was never to sign with him. You know what I'm saying? It was more so, like I said, it was just to as a
message. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So he was like, listen, man, so are you out of your contract? I'm like, no. He was like, well, check this out. Get out of your contract, and then the next meeting that we have, we can discuss figures. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, what kind of figures? He was like, I'm talking about 6 figures, man. I'm like, 6 figures? He's like, yeah, or a little more than that. I'm like, okay. He's like, what car? What's your favorite car? I'm like a Ferrari, man. He's like, oh, that's nothing, man. I'm like, what? And listen, man, I'm like, man, listen, this is crazy. So I ended up leaving, and then the streets found out about that, and 50 ended up having like this little tour where he did like 3 different shows. He did one in the Bronx, one in Jersey, and one somewhere else, where he brought Remy Martin out and this other show. So it was the show that I ended up going to was in the Bronx. He didn't call me to go to the show. I called them because I'm like, you know what? That's going to add more fuel to the fire. So let me.
Oh, you heavy.
Yeah, let me go to the show, man. They like, oh, you in the Bronx? I'm like, yeah. So they like, cool, come up, pull up. I'm like, all right, bet. Now, I had a camera crew with me. So the camera crew that I had with me, one of my friends, the plan was just to show the chain that was floating around the internet saying that she took. That was the main. Ideally, that was the plan. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to show the chain that I'm still in possession of it, and that's it. I ended up doing way more than that. I showed the chain. My man was like, yo, what happened to the chain? I'm like, what, this chain right here? I showed the chain. And then on impulse, one of my men was like, man, we drag chains like that. As soon as he said that, me just not thinking about it, I just started dragging it. I'm like, look, man. Start walking it like a dog, and man.
Wow.
I told the cameraman, I said, listen, bro, don't put this footage out unless I tell you to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all right, cool. Look, don't put it out, man, unless I tell you to.
Yeah, right.
I end up going to the show. I'm on stage with 50. He bought me. I got J Hood with me. So I took the chain out of my pocket. I'm showing everybody in the crowd. They looking. They're like, oh. And I'm doing this. I'm like, nah, you know what I'm saying? Like, they like, oh, stop. Oh. So I ended up leaving. It was crazy. It was pandemonium. I went to sleep. Oh, my God. I woke up the next morning. When I say viral, man, this was when YouTube just like really hit for real. Soulja Boy,
right?
Soulja Boy always like, yo, I was the first person to do this and that. Yeah. And I give it to him. He was the first person to go viral on YouTube and all that. But I was probably like the 5th when it comes to like, hip hop, man. Man, that chain dragging was everywhere. I'm talking about people from Europe started hitting me up. Oh my God, what's going on? What happened? Yo. I'm like, yo, bro, I told this dude not to put this out.
He knew what he had.
Exactly.
He knew what he had.
I'm like, bro, why would you put this out, man? He like, yo, I didn't do it. My cousin did it. I'm like,
nah, he lied.
He lied.
Bro, why would you do that, man? So now I have to deal with the repercussions of what, my actions. I'm like, this is crazy, man. And it all hell broke loose. So after that, I just did a lot of foolish things as far as like making diss tracks to them because they still wouldn't let me out of my contract. Now, the whole purpose of the chain dragging, people think I drugged my chain because they didn't put my album out, which is totally incorrect. People have a misconception of that. And the whole quote unquote beef I had with them was because they didn't want to let me out of my contract.
How long did it take for you to be out of the contract?
It took a minute due to all the things that I did. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't leave the way that I was supposed to leave. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you know, I'm not saying my actions was justified or nothing like that, but I was dealing with a lot. As I said, the things that was going on in my personal life with my family, I was dealing with that.
And you were young too.
Young, dealing with, you know, my mom's being sick, dealing with my sister. I felt, to be honest with you, I felt betrayed. I felt, I was hurt. I felt like, man, these are guys that I literally put my life in the hands of, and I felt like, you know, they're supposed to have my best interests at heart. I felt like, you know, they kind of like stabbed me in the back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was a collection of different feelings that I was dealing with at the time. That
Okay, no, I'm saying that when that thing was going on, had you seen Sheik or anybody else on the street, would you fight them?
during that time,
Yeah.
nah, man. Who I ended up seeing was, I used to like bump into different people that they used to hang around. You know what I'm saying? So it was like really an issue though. You know what I'm saying? Like the people that I was around used to try to catch them, you know, slipping. And they used to try to catch me, you know, the people that I'm around slipping. When I say slipping, I mean like not on our P's and Q's, you know, trying to do stuff for each other. So it was like serious. You know, God willing, nothing happened. But it did get serious for me.
A couple years ago, Sheik, SP, and Keys, they went on radio and says the issue about the money is because you weren't responsible enough.
I don't think that's what they said. I think they're referring to after I went on the Map podcast, and I basically explained, you know, what took place, and then, you know, Styles responded on a video. Then Sheik went on Black TV and responded on the video.
Okay.
So what happened was they denied it though. You know what I'm saying? They denied whatever took place and said nobody took money from you and all that type of stuff. Which, I mean, that's not a way that I would do it. But they're trying to save face. So what else you gonna say? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, that's unfortunately that's what ended up happening. But you know, my position on that is when I went on the Mount Papa podcast, I never said anything disrespectful. I never like went on there and tried to paint a certain picture.
Yeah.
I never did anything of the sort. I tried to make sure that I was respectful as possible. I didn't try to say anything that would taint their legacy or make them look bad or nothing like that. I was basically just trying to explain my position because this misconception has been hung around my head for so long that I left because I was upset that they didn't drop my album on that. Wasn't the case.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So are you guys in a good space right now?
I'm not gonna say a good space, but we're not in the bad one.
Okay, that's good.
What people don't know is I actually sat down with all three of them guys before I did the Nap. You know what I'm saying? I went to the studio. I took it upon myself to go there and to, you know, apologize to each and every one of them for my part that I played in the situation. Although I didn't feel that I was totally wrong, I just felt like that was the right thing to do because, like I said, I was tired of walking around with that kind of like cloud over me. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, let me just like, even though I'm the youngest out of everybody, let me take the grown man approach and just, you know, apologize.
That's maturity.
Yeah, it does show maturity. And I feel like sometimes, I mean, we have to do that in life. Sometimes we have to apologize or we have to forgive somebody, not for them, but for us, just so that we can move on and have that peace in our heart. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I mean, a lot ended up happening, man, like that just changed me as a person, man. You know, I ended up losing my mother like shortly after, you know, she beat the liver disease. She ended up being diagnosed with gallbladder cancer, and a month and a half later after that, she ended up passing. So I dealt with that, and, you know,
So sorry.
I'm appreciate it. So I'm dealing with that, and then I'm dealing with all these different people and fans that really don't know the story. They're judging me off of it. They're like, oh my God, he's disloyal, he's this and that. Oh my God, bro, do y'all know? To be loyal, you have to be loyal to yourself first before you're loyal to anybody else. And what I mean by that is you have to make sure that you place yourself in the best position or the best place possible for yourself to not only evolve but to be able to grow. So I felt like I had to remove myself.
Yeah.
You know, I was stagnant. To me, I think I wouldn't be able to grow if I would have stayed there. So I removed myself. And like I said, I never thought that it was the best way or I took the right approach. But I think everything happens for a reason, and it makes you what you are at the end of the day, in the future.
Yeah, that was yeah. So let me ask you this, man. Something more recent. WAC 100 says the game is better than Kiss. Do you agree with that?
Game?
Yeah.
Man, I keep running with you. I think that Game makes better albums than Kiss.
Okay.
But he had better production. He had Dre. He has. I mean, but listen, I get it. But lyrically, no.
No. See, that's what I was gonna say. He makes better albums, but lyrically, he's not better than Kiss.
Okay.
Lyrically, he's not better. I mean, that to me, that's always been like the issue with Kiss. His ear for production doesn't match his lyrical ability. Like if he was able to pick the right beats to complement his voice and his sound, it would be out of here. You know what I'm saying? But that's to me, and that's not a shot to him because he's phenomenal. You know what I mean? Because
for me, I don't think I've ever heard a bad verse from him.
No.
Yeah, because to me, seriously, all four of yours, like, y'all are like monsters, man. Like, Jesus. You guys are like one group I would not want to go against, man.
For real, yeah.
Yeah, man, Kiss is incredible.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I was kind of like taken back when he said that too. Like, Game is better. I'm like, bro, come on, man, stop that.
Yeah.
Right.
So another thing that just kind of happened recently. So Jim Jones said he's better than Nas. Do you think he was like high that day, or do you think it was for clout? Like, what happened?
For clout.
I'm gonna tell you guys something that I know, man, and I have to take my hat off to Jim for this because he's found out a way to manipulate the internet and to garnish attention whenever he wants to. So he says the most outlandish things because he knows how people are going to respond to it, and he knows to put the spotlight on him. So he figured it out. So I get that to him. I take my hat to him, but I don't think he really thinks he's better than Nas. And if he does, I need to know what type of weed he's smoking.
Right? I was like, seriously, dude, you're not even in the same realm. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but to me, for a guy, he did pretty good. Yeah.
What?
He said the same thing about Styles P though. He's like, he was on the radio saying for DJ Envy. He was like, I don't think nobody from New York could mess with me. First of all, we seen what happened in the battle, in the verses.
Right.
We seen that. So he like, I don't think there's nobody on the individual level from New York that could hang on me on the battle tip. So they brought up Styles' name. He like, Styles' catalog ain't good enough. He don't got enough sound. Like, bro, what are you talking about? You guys are still talking now, man.
Okay, so let's go back to the four groups, right? The Dipset, the G-Unit, and State, and you guys. What I remember, they were almost putting you against him, Lloyd Banks, and Young Buck, right?
Yeah.
So he's not. Yeah, and lyrically, I don't think he can match you either.
No.
Lyrically, I don't think he can match you, but because he has a couple more albums than you, that's probably why he's probably more known than you.
What I will say, now I have to give it to him. Lloyd Banks, I'll give it to Banks. Banks is like elite lyrically, you know what I'm saying? But
not Jim Jones.
Oh, definitely not no Jim Jones, man.
No.
Those ain't even in the same atmosphere, the same strategy.
No.
Sorry about that. You know. Yeah. But the thing that people were going to say, because he said something more recently that I had to chime in on. He said that he would smoke anybody from his era. He's feeling it right now because he got a little buzz going, so he just be talking, like I said. So he said something, and he said that, and I had to chime in. I've just been sitting back, just listening to everything, but that I couldn't take. I'm like, bro. He's like, anybody from 2003 and on, bro, I was in that era. No. And I can name 10 people that you're not better than, and I'm one of those people. So I had to speak on that.
There's more than 10, bro. That's more than 10. That's more than 10, dude.
You're gone too far, Biggs. Like, you take it easy.
Yeah.
All right, so give me your top 5 MCs of all time.
Oh, that's easy. When you say MCs or rappers, period.
Rappers, period.
Yeah. All right. So first, the GOAT, the greatest of all time to me is Tupac.
Okay.
That's number 1. Number 2, Jay-Z. Number 3, Nas. Number 4, Biggie. Number 5, Rakim.
Okay.
I like it.
I
like it.
Yeah. For me,
I see where you're at.
For me, it's Pac, X, Scarface, Rakim, and usually it's Nas or
Yeah. I put M in there, but yeah. I mean,
I just.
That's a solid top 5.
Yeah.
What about your all-time top 5 favorite rap groups of all time?
rap group. Ooh. Okay, so I would say the Wu-Tang Clan, NWA. Okay, now do you take Eric B and Rakim as a rap group or just?
I mean, I think they would consider it a group.
Yeah, so I would take. I like the Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah.
I like.
NWA.
NWA. What that?
See, Outkast would definitely be in my top 5. I love Outkast.
Okay.
It just is, yeah. Outkast.
I'm not mad at that.
Yeah.
Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Bone Thugs and Harmony. Yeah.
They don't have enough credit.
See, look, okay, see now I like where this is going because I'm gonna let you know my top 5 groups of all time, right?
Okay.
Wu-Tang, number 1. Outkast, number 2. So that's why I said when you say Outkast, yeah. Outkast, number 2. Mobb Deep, number 3.
Okay.
Number 4, I would go either NWA or Public Enemy. Number 5, it would be interchangeable. I would say either the Locks or Bone Thugs and Harmony. You know, it could go either way.
Yeah.
I like Digital Underground too, though.
Yeah. That's dope. Yes.
No, that's a great group.
So before we let you go, man, I know you have to go. I got a couple more questions. How many years you think Puff gonna get?
How many years, man? I don't know. He's a slithery dude, man. He might be. He'll slither his way out of this, man. But I'll say at the very least, man, maybe I'll say 1 to 2 years, man. You know,
1 to 2 years.
Time served, man. It's wicked.
I mean, to me, that's good. That's getting off easy.
It is. Oh, it is so easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you think about Shannon Sharpe settling with Gabrielle?
I tell you what, man. I know it was a significant amount of money that she received when she put out that tweet talking about OnlyFans. Like, what? She retired,
right?
Shannon's the only guy retiring OnlyFans model.
Ty, you got that bag, girl. I know what happened.
Right?
Yeah. So
okay, let me ask you this: as a celebrity, as somebody who's known, how do you guys vet the women you date? Like, because for us regular folks it's easy, but for you guys, how do you do that, man?
I tell you what, man. Before I even get too deep into that, I'm just glad that there was no Me Too movements and all this other type of stuff going on back then when I was like, it's so sensitive nowadays. It's crazy, man. It's like so. It's a different generation. So right now, I mean, to be totally honest with you, I'm kind of like a different guy, man. I don't want to sound cliche, but I'm at the age that I am right now. Like these people might date differently and all that, but I'm 41 right now. You know what I'm saying? So I did a lot at a young age. Where I'm at in my life, this particular space, I'm dating with purpose. You know what I'm saying? So if I date somebody, I'm dating to potentially cuff them up and to possibly, for marriage and stuff like that. So I don't really put myself out there. Like I don't do a lot of, just serial dating like that. But I would say it's rough out here for people, man, because a lot of these women, specifically in this generation, in this day and age, they're social media lives. So it's like a level of entitlement that they come with, and they expect certain stuff from these guys, like off the back. You know what I'm saying? There's no like, to me, a relationship is supposed to be about, you know, growing and being able to build together and, you know, just growing. So I think, and this is just my personal opinion, and this is something that they don't. This is an opinion that they don't share, a lot of them. I think like if one person is solely financially responsible for everything, that kind of goes against the concept of building, because how are we going to build if it's one person that got to take care of everything? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's what these younger girls, that's the mindset that they have. Like, yo, you got to do this for me. You supposed to be doing this. These guys supposed to do everything. If you ain't doing this, I don't want to hear you. Like, yo, I got to.
That's my thing. Because they all want a guy who makes like $500,000. I'm like, okay, listen, if you make 80 and the guy make 90 or 80, why can't you guys come together and have like a decent life?
Right.
Not everybody can do like the high life, like the, you know what I mean? Just be normal.
My grandfather used to do this for my grandma and all that. So this is the way they're supposed to be, man. This is 2025. Back then, your grandparents, they rent was like $100 a month type shit.
Yes, right.
Yes.
And this is a thing too. The women out here aren't like your grandma.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not doing the same stuff your grandma did. So yeah.
To be honest, a lot of women are making more than some of the men out here. To be
Yeah.
So it's a different world that we live in. But like as far as like the girls of today's day and age, they, like I said, they social media live. So it's hard for these guys to date, because they all come with like motives.
Yeah.
No, man, no cheesecake factories or nothing.
Yep.
Come on, girl. You worth Wendy's. Stop. All right, bro. I know you have to go, man. Thank you for being here with us, man. We appreciate it.
We
man.
really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes. Let's do this again next time, man. Like in a month or so.
All right, definitely.
You my love, my life. You need, feel the vibe of this reggae. You my love, my life. This intense beat, the soul takes you.